Welcome back. Today, with the help of a friend called... I wish I got something called like that. Anyway, with the help of Bandaged Dude, we're going to dissect a video called Why Women Need Feminism. Take it away. Oh, I'm really starting to get sick of seeing that definition. It's lost all meaning. BD, do something about that, please. Thank you.
Feminism is
We're sorry, you have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service.
a social movement.
Wow. Took you a while there.
Yes, it did, didn't it? Isn't it weird that the definition was only played a few seconds before she spoke, and she still took so long to get there? As if trying to restate an already made point is complicated.
The belief that women and men are equal, both sexes and gender, masculine, feminine.
There's some flimsy word use in here, but fuck it, not going to cherry pick.
You may not, but I will. You can't say both sexes and gender, masculine and feminine, because there's something oddly exclusionary about that. You're ignoring the plight of the non-binary after all, and all the Tumblr princesses that are fighting for their rights to be the biggest victim they could possibly be.
Letting women do what men can do and better.
Well, that didn't sound too equal there.
It also didn't sound too accurate, as there are aspects of society and employment that men do better than women and vice versa.
The outlandish belief that women are equal to men.
Yes, because equality within our developed societies needs an antiquated label that has been appropriated by hateful bigots that espouse misandrous hate and do very little to fight for actual equality.
Women can't change a light bulb.
No, women can change a light bulb. Feminists, on the other hand, nah. They will cry, piss and moan until somebody changes it for them.
To be fair, I have seen both men and women get confused by a bayonet fixing. Both those people in question have no interaction with the feminist movement and just lack basic life skills. They honestly tried to call an electrician. I'm not kidding.
That a dress code is enforced on a woman, but not necessarily on men.
Any evidence of that statement? No? Wow, I'm so surprised. The dress code is enforced on both genders in any working environment that requires a dress code. For example, if I showed up in my robe, my slippers with messy hair to my workplace, I'd be thrown the fuck out of the building.
Believe it or not, I have actually seen this happen, but the other way round. It happened in my last job repairing cell phones or mobile phones. The girls would go out of their way to not wear the electrosafe lab coat and foot straps, claiming that they had medical reasons to not wear it. A couple, in fact, went so far as to try and claim harassment when they were being made to wear it.
To complete the full circle of life, I need a man.
I don't know who tells you that, but I promise you it wouldn't be someone like me. You could have a man or a woman, or no one at all. It is a personal choice. Hell, you could have a whole house full of cats, if you really want. Or dogs.
What can I say? Circle of life, circle of death, huh? Because, you know, it's circular. I can't live in this world anymore!
Who says that? Where do they say that? No, you don't need a man to complete the circle of life. In fact, you don't need anybody. After all, here's the gist of the circle of life.
Life sucks, and then you die.
You have a female brain. What does the concept female brain mean?
That you have a female brain? Because you're a female? It's a known fact that male and female brains are wired differently. So there is a distinction between a male brain and a female brain.
Yeah, and let's not forget here that men use more grey matter in their brains, whereas women use more white matter. Just to go into a little more detail, the grey matter areas of the brain are localized. They are information and action processing centers in specific splotches in a specific area of the brain. Whereas white matter is the networking grid that connects the brain's grey matter and other processing centers with another. This is why girls find it a lot easier to transition between tasks, hence the whole multitasking thing.
Simply acknowledge that women are equal to men.
On behalf of the society you live in, I'm going to speak for it. You are equal to men. Congratulations.
Women raise men and girls and boys in the household. If they are able to do that, why can't they lead an organization, lead a country? It's a simple mind shift that needs to take place.
They can. There are several organizations led by women. Hell, there are organizations dedicated specifically for women. And there are women who run countries, albeit they are doing a terribly poor job of it, still, point stands. So it looks like women are equal, which means that everything you just said was a waste of time.
Conversation. Knowing the other helps us a lot and helps us realize that, okay, cool, some of your parts are different to mine, but ultimately we are the same.
I would agree if it were not for the constant labelling of every single different aspect of ourselves, which creates differences. It creates problems.
Agreed. Having conversations and debates is important to understand every side. Problem is, feminists don't seem to encourage debate, and the only type of conversations that feminists seem to encourage is where they get to talk and everybody is forced to shut up and listen.
Yeah, people who push the listen and believe mentality or rhetoric, you really have to question that person's critical thinking skills.
What families can do is not just teach their daughters that they can be anything, that they can be lawyers, doctors, engineers, construction workers, but that you teach your sons that women can be all of those things.
I'm assuming we aren't allowed to tell boys that they can be anything you want then, because patriarchy has already told them this. I mean, I wanted to be a carpenter when I was a little kid. Little did I know I could have been telling other girl Cthulhukin that they could be a carpenter too. Oh wait, they can if they work for it like everyone else. Also, are you sure you'd want a boy or man to boysplain or mansplain to a girl what the girl already knows?
So now I'm supposed to waste my time teaching my son that your daughter can be anyone she wants to be, instead of me teaching my son that he can be anyone he wants to be? I can just smell the equality there.
Both women with an X and women with an A.
The conventional spelling.
I identify with women with an X, I identify with women with a Y, I identify with women with an A.
Yay, we're going into Tumblr territory now.
The only spelling I care about is the one associated with my sandwich wench, who seems to have gone missing for this video. I will find you, and you will make me a sandwich.
I personally can be progressive or push boundaries without having to change the spelling of my name.
Quick correction there, it's not your name, it's your gender, but I do agree with that. Changing the letters of a gender is pointless and stupid. I mean, just try and pronounce those two. You'll sound like an idiot.
Changing it from an A to a Y does not change me, does not change my position in society.
I agree. I would, however, like to add that you can say whatever you want about who you are, but the moment it crosses into the legal aspect of society, what you identify as is no longer a valid position to hold when obtaining a driver's license or attending court. As a small side to my original point there, if you go to someone and demand they show you respect or acknowledge your identity, and they then say no to you, you can be outraged, but you shouldn't then go out of your way to try and cost them their job.
Totally agreed. If your position in society doesn't change towards an unequal and unfair imbalance, then why are you bringing this up?
They are too strong, whatever the hell that means.
Oh yeah. Here's one of the feminists showing off her strength right there.
Don't like it? Yeah! Hey. Yeah! Mark. Yeah! Your sign is fucking offensive! That hates me! It hates me! It just provoked a song!
Damn, that feminist's feelings were stronger than its body. Just before we plow on, I want to answer the feminist stereotypes that irritate question. For me, the stereotype that most irritates me about feminists, certainly those in the West, is that they're pushing for equality. That was bitchy. It felt good.
Don't have a sense of humor.
No, you don't.
Also, have you ever seen Kate Smurthwaite tell a joke? If there was a factor for cringe, or a scale like the Richter scale, she would be off the charts on cringe.
Feminists burn bras and don't shave their armpits.
If you ever see the Free the Nipple campaign or some slut walks, you will in fact see the occasional bra burning by a feminist or two. So that stereotype still holds up.
Agreed. And they don't shave their armpits.
Hello, I'm Ari and we're here today on the streets of Los Angeles asking what people think about women with armpit hair.
It's over for me!
Yeah, the BuzzFeed logo made me want to do that too.
That they lesbians and that they hate men.
I don't know about the lesbians part, but they clearly do hate men.
We can add to the Julie Bindel bit by pointing out that some feminists are pushing for spaces away from men on campuses, while simultaneously wanting to encroach upon spaces for men. Let's also not forget that feminists seem oddly silent on the issue of men's health. That is indicative of hatred towards men, because they're not willing to help them because they believe women's issues take precedent. we should be treated equally regardless.
Do not for 1 second think that I can't make my own decisions. Do not for 1 second think that I'm not able to lead a country.
And you do not for 1 second think that I can't criticize your decisions and make fun of them, because I can.
Yeah, and you could definitely run for office. Whether you get the job comes down to a whole host of factors, but if you really want to win though, orange skin and a blonde toupee should do it.
Even if you don't agree or you don't want to take part in the movement, all you really have to do is listen.
I have taken the opportunity to listen, and I've tried to believe, but the evidence doesn't seem to stack up with quite a large amount of the rhetoric you push, so I'm afraid I can't be a part of your movement.
In order to promote feminism, men do have a part to play by saying, hold up, a woman can do this. I was raised by they have no problem saying I was raised by a strong woman. But put that strong woman in your president's seat, then what? Then it's an issue.
I was raised by a very strong mother and father for quite a while. I have no problem admitting that. I also have no problem envisaging her in the Prime Minister's office, yes, Prime Minister, not President, where I can imagine she would do a far better job enacting Article 50 than the current Prime Minister, because my mother would have beaten the living crap out of people. Physically, she would have done that. What about you, Bandaged Dude?
I have no problem admitting that I was indeed raised by a strong woman, but what made her strong wasn't the fact that she was a feminist or some bullshit like that. By the way, she wasn't. What made her strong is the fact that she was able to raise and turn a little shithead into a more or less decent human being who now shit talks people on the internet. I love how you imply that just because I admit that I was raised by a strong woman, I'm somehow supporting feminism, as if strong women is an accessory. Good job there. As for your obsession with presidency, people have had issues with presidents of both genders, so yet again, no cigar. You're going to be a terrible country leader. I hope you fail in your endeavors.
Men should believe that women are equal to men. Men should believe that women should earn the same. Men should believe that women should sit at boardroom tables just as they do.
Okay, so you made 3 points. The first, men and women are equal within our developed societies. The second point, men and women earn the same for the same work in the same job. There is a distinction. And the third, best exemplified with ANZ, the bank in your own country, a very feminist bank.
Because men have sisters, men have wives, men have daughters. So for that reason alone, if they aren't feminists, then they're doing damage to someone in their immediate family.
Nice attempt at a guilt trip there. Nice to see that you're willing to sink low. You are a feminist, aren't you? But I do agree, if you don't believe that your sister is equal to you, then you're a dick, who will probably hurt her feelings, but don't for 1 second think that that somehow relates to feminism, because it doesn't. It relates to family issues. It relates to being a decent human being, and the fact that you had to point that obvious shit out only shows how short you are on ammo.
You have to be firing some pretty weak ammo if you want to try and emotionally abuse a man into agreeing to be something he's not.
I think there's so much more to us than our eyebrows being on flick, hair being on flick.
I don't even know what that means. If you mean looking decent or presentable towards others, sure. Professionalism is important in certain instances, and wanting to impress your friends, why not? But I haven't seen many feminists looking like they're on fleek, if on fleek means presentable or decent. They all seem to have multicoloured hair, and whatever other array of clothing seems to fit their identity best. Plaid shirt and jeans being the trademark.
Newsflash, Nimrod, there's more to any person than their outside appearance, regardless of gender, not only women.
If we don't have feminism, then who is going to fight for the rights of women?
That's a very good question. In countries where feminism is needed, where women's rights are blatantly being denied, who's going to fight for it? And to answer your question, I have no idea. In the countries where feminism originated, women's rights were genuinely being fought for. Will they now take their fight over there and, while some claim they do, be more vocal about it within our countries, rather than simply saying, given women's rights in Islamic nations, actually be a bit more assertive about it rather than bitching about the small things, like air conditioning and mansplaining?
I actually agree to an extent. Feminism back in the days had something to fight for. Sure, we can debate whether the ends justify the means, since feminists would use very questionable tactics in order to achieve their goals, but the goals were noble and clear. Today, however, feminism is not needed at all, because all the goals that feminism used to strive for have been reached.
Women only got the vote X amount of years after men. Well, men have always had it. We were only allowed into public arenas where we could voice our concerns, into places like Parliament, into government, being able to teach, being able to speak our mind without being tied down and put into a river because we are a witch. So that's why the world needs feminism, because we were always on the back foot.
You pretty much voided everything you said the moment you uttered the word were. Right at the end, you made this long point about being on the back foot. You were on the back foot. That's what you said. Were on the back foot. Nullifying everything you said because you acknowledge you are not on the back foot now. Congratulations. Big thanks to Bandaged Dude for letting me do this. Please go check him out and subscribe. Thank you all for listening.